Everyone, Blake here, and we are up and running on the new machine. I have only installed OBS and made sure that OBS works. That's what I used to do on my video recording. I haven't touched anything else. The machine has been sitting on for a little bit, and it has installed some of its own drivers. You know, I just plugged in my microphone and the webcam. Windows 10 just identified those and installed that, so there's kind of nothing to do there. As well as it's done some video card stuff. I don't know if it has my latest video card drivers. I'm not super concerned about that yet. But, you know, those are kinds of things that Windows has done under the hood for me already. So really the only thing I've installed was obs-studio and the dependencies for obs-studio. So I'm going to do something. I haven't done it yet. And I'm just going to go to the task manager. Pop that bad boy open, more details, performance. So right now, while recording, we are at a whopping 2% utilization. And let's go to the CPU tab. Look at it all. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. 31 logical CPUs. This is awesome. So my motherboard didn't need a BIOS update to pick up the computer, to pick up the CPU or the RAM. So all of that looks like it is running fine. The other one is DirectX Diagnostics, DXDiag. I don't care if my things are signed or not. Wow, that came up quick. Let's see, yeah, 3950, lots of RAM, 32 gigs of RAM. I'll have to check at some point. Picked up the graphics card, great. Again, I don't know if I'm running the latest driver. But everything here looks good. So the only other thing I don't know is if the RAM is running at speed or not. But we're in pretty good shape. So this is a brand new Windows desktop. So there's some things that we need to do. First of all, Microsoft Edge, it's going to fulfill its duty to only be a downloader for Chrome. Really? Oh. Helps if I spell Chrome right. And no, I don't want to do any of that, and accept and install. So this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be downloading and installing all of the tools we need to do to get up and running to do machine learning. Again, I do reinforcement learning, and I do that with Unity's ML agents. It's a fast, easy way. I come from an indie game dev. I have that in my background. It's not the only thing I have in my background, but that's one thing that I've done. And so having it be part of the game engine was just a great way for me to get into it. And I think it's a fun way to get into reinforcement learning. So that's what we're going to be using. Let's see. So we're going to fire up Chrome. We're going to need Chrome. We're going to need Unity. We're going to need Visual Studio. And then we're going to need a bunch of other tools that aren't super necessary, but they're really nice to have. So I'm going to go and get those installed. And I'll show you a cool tool for getting all of that done. So first things first, let's get Chrome in here. While that's installing, I'm going to get rid of the Cortana bar, and I am going to get rid of Edge, and I'm going to pin Chrome to the taskbar. And I'm not going to worry about signing in. I'm going to get rid of Windows Mail. Get rid of Cortana. Let's see. I don't care about the task view. Okay, that is better. Next thing is my default browser is going to be Chrome. Switch anyway. Go away, Microsoft. I don't want you as my browser. I will reassess once you have the new version of Edge with Chromium installed. Okay. All right, so let's get Visual Studio 2019 Community Edition and Unity. And these are things, when you are learning, both of these are completely valid to use to learn. So I'm going to do get started and individual, personal plus, where is Unity Hub? Oh, you know what, when I log into Unity later. Get started, individual. You know what? Hold on. There, that's what I want. Download Unity Hub. Unity Hub helps organize all of the different installs of Unity that you might have on one machine. So, and then we'll do Community 2019. All right, so that is downloading. Thankfully, I have a nice beefy internet connection, and these guys install fairly quick. Now, one of the things that you'll notice when you're installing Visual Studio is that, yep, run Unity Hub, all access, and pin that one to the test bar too. Visual Studio has in some of its install packages a game development thing where it downloads and installs Unity. I actually find that to be kind of a pain in the butt. Installing them separately is better because that means that you get the latest version of Visual Studio and the latest version of Unity, and that you're using Unity Hub to manage and deal with your Unity installs instead of worrying about Visual Studio. All right, so I will log in. And just do that off screen, blind. General. Unity editors folder. Unity editors path is fine. No, path to Unity doesn't exist. All right. You know what? Nope. Helps if I spell that right. Continue. Yes, I'm going to rename it. Install. Select folder. There. It's in my Unity Hub. And then my language is English. Okay. Installs. No Unity. Add a Unity version. Boom. Yes, 2019 14 F1 is good. Next. I've already started that process. You know what? Just to make sure that Unity is doing it with everything it needs, I'm going to do it through Unity. Sure, I agree. Yes. Okay, so it's going to do its thing. We'll see what happens when Unity installs Visual Studio as opposed to Visual Studio installing Unity. What's next? Okay, so there's a bunch of other tools that you will find very, very helpful when you're doing game development. You're going to want some basic art tools, some basic, archival tools, zip, unzip, that kind of thing. By far, the easiest and fastest way that I've learned on a fresh machine to install all of the tools that you need on Windows is a tool called Chocolatey. So I've used Linux in the past. I really like it. There's some things that I really enjoy about Linux. One of them is apt-get, and that you're not going around to all of these crazy websites and downloading installers and having to manually do all that crap. Apt-get is your friend when you're on Linux, or at least Ubuntu. different distros have different application management tools. In the case here, Windows has Chocolatey. And it's not that well known, but I am a fan of Chocolatey. So I'm going to do get started. And so there's going to be a thing here. And what that is going to do is this command line is going to install Chocolatey. So, oh, and I meant to run that as an administrator. So I'm going to right-click that and hit Run as Administrator so that I can install stuff. And so I just copy it off the website and then right-click in here and boom. It's going to go to chocolatey.org and install this PowerShell script, and it's going to automatically, magically do that for me. Poof, done. Right, and now, oh, now I can do choco install 7-zip. 7-zip is a useful program. And now 7-zip will be installed. Done. And then we will do an install of gimp. Sometimes I don't know the names of stuff, right? So Chocolatey, let's do a search for Blender because I want the latest Blender. I understand, yeah, go away. Yeah, 2.8.1, okay. All right, GIMP is still installing, Unity's installing. And from what I've seen, generally speaking, the two installers don't conflict with each other, so you can do these things in tandem and really just get stuff done, crank it out. All right. So GIMP is a Photoshop alternative. I find it very useful. Sometimes the user interface can be a little challenging to use, but when you run it in single window mode instead of multi-window mode, actually it works way better. All right, so let's see here. We'll need, what else do we need? We're going to run Inkscape, Blender. I want Tiger VNC so that I can go to my other machine. I don't need to do that now. Or not Tiger, well, we'll need some kind of VNC client. I will deal with that later because that's not super important to this process. So Inkscape is handled, Blender, 7-zip. Try to think, what else are the more popular packages? Yeah, I know. It's odd that their website isn't showing me any packages. Find packages. Huh, I guess that's only allowing search. Normally there's been, yeah, community maintained packages. So for like Inkscape, I feel like this is not normal for this website. Wondering if we're having an issue. Yes, please install Inkscape. I mean, it is Black Friday. Servers are doing crazy things, although I wouldn't expect that to be affecting Chocolatey. 64-bit Inkscape. Right, so now we have Unity, Inkscape, Blender, GIMP, 7-zip, all ready to go. What is it, Krita? It's another real useful one, yeah. Yep, Blender in here. So this is also another one where if you're in the middle of something and you know the Chocolatey install name for it, and you're doing something and you're like, oh man, I don't have that installed, what do I do now? You just go here and you run it. Yep, there's Blender, Krita. Yeah, so there's the thing. So it's showing you when you find a package, but yeah, that's weird. I think they're just having an issue with their website or something. That's not what it normally does. All right, and it looks like for Unity we are good to go. So, oh, Python. We need Python. Yes. Let us make sure that that is Python, not like, or Python 3. Yeah, it's Python 3. Glad I double checked that. And here, why don't we make a little sticky note? And I'll put that on the video, right? And so you can actually make a list. Chocolatey has like a batch mode, where you can also just give it a list. I won't go through that because we don't need that for this video, but it is certainly doable. That way, if you have like, oh yeah, here are the things that I always use, it'll just go. But let's just go through here and say Blender, Krita, Inkscape, GIMP, 7-zip. I think that's it. Now, the other thing that we're going to need to do is come up with a space for these projects. Python 3, Krita, Blender, Inkscape, GIMP, 7-zip, and then Chocolatey. All right. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do, and part of it, the reason why it is the last thing I'm going to do, it's going to be for the purposes of this video, is because it will probably necessitate that I stop recording, is graphics drivers. I haven't installed my graphics drivers. You know, in this case, I'm going to go get the graphics driver. The ML agent stuff that I'm doing doesn't actually need the GPU. We're going to be doing all CPU bound, at least to start with, you know, for these videos. But just for the sake of having a complete and operational machine, I do want to go get the latest NVIDIA drivers. So I'm going to download the driver from NVIDIA. Drivers, GeForce. 2080. Oh, 20 series, desktops, 2080 Ti. So I'm going to have it do that, and I'm going to download it, but then I will actually stop recording so that we can just install this driver without screwing up the video or causing any problems, and then we'll pretty much call this a video, because we'll be able to pick up and rock and roll and get into the actual machine learning portion of it, I think, in the next video, right? So we're just going to do a quick check here. Yep. Yeah, so Python's installed, so that's happy. A bunch of graphics tools and stuff, those are all happy. Boom. The lack of startup time on this machine for these tools is mind-blowing. This is a lot of fun. So yeah, looks like everything is happy. Well, so I'm not sure Visual Studio Community Edition got here. Well, okay, and then my location, documents, new folder. And we're going to do this. The license is invalid. What? Okay. There we go. Forgot to do that. So go to your login, manage your license, choose the appropriate license. You. Okay. Documents, Unity projects, select folder, and test project. All right, and that is downloaded. Get rid of those. Unity's initializing, and then we can get rid of all of these icons. Sorry. Bam. There we go. All right. So Unity is up and running. Oh, that's right. I wanted to check. Yeah, Visual Studio didn't make it. All right. Well, see, this is why we test things. This is why we test things. Okay. Visual Studio Community 2019. All right, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can do. I don't do Python in Visual Studio, generally speaking. Or Node.js, right? I kind of go native for that. This is their game development with Unity. I will select that because it has the Visual Studio tools for Unity, which I want. But look at the optional. The editor that it's looking to install is 2018.3, so that's over a year old. Definitely uncheck that, right? We want a more up-to-date editor. If there's other things that you want in here, you know, I kind of like .NET Core cross-platform development and whatnot, but I'm not going to worry about that now. And so it's going to do this. The other thing, I don't know if there's a Chocolatey install for it. Is Visual Studio Code. I do like, sometimes I need to edit a web page or something quickly, and Visual Studio Code is one of my go-tos, because I used to use Notepad++, but I find that it's every time I fire it up, it's like, oh, hey, do you want to stop what you're doing and install this update package and stuff like that? And Visual Studio Code has the auto updater, but it lets you do what you're doing, and then when you close, that's when it auto updates, so that it's out of your way and it's not slowing you down. I really actually like, it's a little feature, but I really dig it. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, just run command prompt and so vscode. And then I don't want the desktop icon. Look at that. That's a option. I do want it to go into the path. That's fine. Oh, OBS is another one that I would normally do here, but I already installed that manually. But I wanted to show you the installation of Chocolatey, so that you know how that went. Oh, there's my there we go. So it's Visual Studio Code. Boom. And I think that's installed. Wow, that was quick. Right, yep, code, boom. Visual Studio, boom. All right, let's try this again. So that would have been rude if I was like, oh yeah, let's go edit this C# script, and then nothing worked. Yeah. All right. So it doesn't look like it's picked up. Yeah. I don't actually care. Yeah, it hasn't picked up the Unity extensions, which is a little odd. The other thing I want to do, actually, because if I hit the play mode, right, there's no knowing. Editor, one of the must-do settings editor is that when you enter play mode, it changes the color. Oh, mode, hidden meta files? No, visible meta files. Reload. Where is changing color on play mode? Under preferences instead of settings. Colors. Oh, it's under preferences instead of settings. Okay. General play mode tint. That's what I'm looking for. It doesn't need to be much. It can be very slight. It can be very subtle. Right? You don't need to go crazy with the color. But a little bit of a tint like that. Boom. Okay. So I think that is going to do it. I did only also want to check one more thing. Maybe it's under preferences, external tools. Okay. Great, and then external script editor, let's just set that to Visual Studio 2019. I wonder if we can get it to be a little happier. Aha, it's trying to do something now. Different color scheme. There it is. All right. So just a little bit of poking at it, and now the Unity extension is up there because it understands some of these specific Unity methods, like on collision enter. Very happy. Okay, we are fully up and running and ready to rock and roll in under 40 minutes from a clean Windows install. So I'm going to go ahead and get this driver, graphics driver installed, and then we will go and do another video before too long about how we actually take our running system and get some machine learning going on this thing. So until then, good luck and happy learning.